Your Bitcoin and Litecoin daily update. Could there be a huge bull rally coming soon? What's up, guys? Crypto Savvy here. I hope everybody's having a fabulous Sunday. We're going to take a look at the charts. We're going to start out with Litecoin, move on to Bitcoin, and then towards the end of the video, we're going to look at the Bitcoin daily chart versus the gold weekly chart that we've been following on this channel since January. Getting pretty interesting, guys. Definitely stick around to the end to check that out, and you'll see why I believe we're still on our way to hit 46,000 by the end of the year. So, also, I want to remind you guys, click the description box below the video. A drop-down box will come in there. There's some affiliate links in there, some different exchanges you can use. Also, some ways to get some free Bitcoin and other cryptos by signing up with some exchanges. Definitely check those out. Also, there's a free Discord group, guys. Great community, great group of people. Definitely check it out if you get a chance. If you like crypto, you'll love the Discord group. So let's get on with the video and see what's going on. All right, guys, as always, I want to start out by saying I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion and my view of the market only. Anybody that's doing any trading or investing in this market, I suggest you do your own due diligence and your own research, as this market is extremely volatile and risky. Also, keep in mind it's still a speculative market. Do not put in more than you're willing to lose. And with that being said, if you're new here and you like daily updates, definitely hit the subscribe button. That'll get you subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on anything. If you tick the notification bell, that'll get you notified when I post new videos, as I do live streams once in a while, so it'll notify you when they come up also. Definitely give it a giant thumbs up. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. I love reading your guys' comments and finding out what everybody thinks about where we're going. Obviously, the market wouldn't be the market without bears and bulls, so I like to hear everybody's opinion. All right, so looking at Litecoin on the weekly, and we've been watching this for a while now. We're making higher lows in the price action, lower lows in the RSI, which, guys, is hidden bullish divergence. So in the long term, we are definitely headed up, in my opinion. Let's go into the daily real quick and see what's going on with that. All right, so on the daily, we'll take a look at my longer term projection first. And again, as I said, I believe Litecoin is headed towards 46,000 by the end of the year, and we'll look at that in the end of the video. But if that is to hit the 46,000 range, I do see Litecoin between 500 and 1,000, and the closer we get to that time, the easier it'll be to judge what the actual targets might be. But I do want to look at this. We've been looking at this as a cup and a handle forming here, and the measured move of that, there's the necklines right around 146, would be around the 271 range. Definitely still looking at going up in that range, guys. If we were to hit it, I believe that would be by the first week of September, possibly. That would be obviously a giant bull run, but we'll keep an eye on it. Could take all the way to over here, the beginning of December area. We'll see. I don't like to judge time. But anyways, all right, let's look at the daily RSI. So looking at the RSI in the daily, we had been watching this rising wedge since December, which we fell out of into a falling wedge here. And these blue lines here, we had drawn in a falling broadening wedge, which we popped out of here. And if we did a measured move of where we popped out, that would bring us up to right in this area, would be testing the bottom of this rising channel again. I do believe we're most likely headed that direction, guys. So let's look at the 4 hour. And the 4 hour, we drew this in here yesterday if you were watching, and we got rejected again, or getting rejected again. Let me move this over real quick, spread it out a little bit. And as you can see, we've been in a long-term falling channel. The top of it being resistance, bottom being support. Is it possible we come all the way back down here? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen? No. We'll take a look at it in the price action. We could pop out of this here now and come up, test the top of this again, or get rejection, extend this line, and either the RSI get a bounce off of this trend line here, or come all the way back down to the bottom of this trend line, which these two actually meet up there. So possibility, let's take a look at the price action and take a look at what I believe is going to happen, and we'll go from there. All right, so as you can see, I have some higher targets here and some lower targets. I am going to move this more over in this area, which would be the bottom. Well, it actually would be the top of this falling channel we have drawn in here, 82.41. We're going to take a look at the bearish case scenario first, guys, and then we're going to take a look at the bullish case, which I believe is going to happen. So taking a look at the bearish case scenario, you know, I have this falling channel in here, which we seem to be at in the 4 hour here. If we are to continue down, we could test the bottom of this channel again, which would also come down to retest this channel we broke out of, but that could be somewhere between the $84 and $82 range, guys. If that does not hold, then we're looking at my ultimate low target of 6,200. I highly doubt that's going to happen. If you look at this blue trend line here, we've had 4 touches on it. 1, 2, 3. Actually, there's a few of them in here, but a 4th one here. I don't believe that's going to break. Worst case, if we do come down to test it, it's going to be around the 82. But like I said, bearish case, 62 is my absolute worst case scenario for Litecoin. But let's take a look at the bullish case scenario. And I also want to show you guys, for if you're watching anybody that uses fibs and stuff, I'm going to show you how, you know, it's not bad to use fibs, but you don't necessarily need them if you learn how to use your trend lines, your support and resistance. As you guys know, I don't like to use a lot of different indicators. I think they're a bunch of noise. I believe, you know, it's a lot. The less you use, the better you get at charting. The easier it is. When you're using a ton of indicators, I think that's nothing but confusion and noise. So that's my opinion. And I don't day trade, I swing trade, so I stay in trades a lot longer. But let's look at what's going on now. All right, so the bullish case scenario we got here is I have some measured moves here. This first one, the 103, which we have not hit yet, that was a measured move from the break of this channel. This being the resistance, this being the support. And we had the break over here, and that gets me to that 103 range. Now again, keep in mind where I'm putting these targets, and I'm going to show you something afterwards. All right, so I have another measured move here, a smaller one, and that's looking at this falling channel, and you measure the width of the channel, move it over to where we may break out. If we were to break out in this area down here somewhere, say if we broke the channel at about the $92, $93 range and went up, that also lines up with the 200 EMA, which also lines up with the $100 resistance there. The other measured move I have, guys, is this being measuring from down here to up here as a flagpole, and this being a bull flag. Same thing if we were to break in this area, break out of this falling channel, which could be the bull flag. That gets us up to the 111 range. Now I'm going to show you another target. That being, let me get zoomed in here a little bit. That being a measured move of this bigger falling channel here. And where we broke out here, that gets us up to the 128. Looks like I had made that one twice. And I did. I don't need this one. All right, and then I also have this 121 range here, and that is the measured move of the break off of the top of this channel here. That gets us the 121 range, guys. Now let me show you guys what I wanted to show you with the EMA real quick, or I'm sorry, with the Fibonacci retracement is what I meant to say. Did I say EMA earlier? But if we took a retracement from the bottom up here to the top, whoops, I did that backwards, my bad. From the top up here to the bottom, as you can see, each one of these targets that I have line up with except this one. This one's a little bit higher, but as you can see, it lines up. This one, the 121 range, is in the golden pocket zone. Then the 0.5 fib is the 111, and the 0.382 is the 103. So I just wanted to point that out real quick. But these are my targets in the higher time, or in the more immediate targets, guys. So I'm definitely staying bullish here. Like I said, we could come back down and test the bottom of this between the 85 or 86 and $82 range. Definitely possible. Is it likely? I don't think so. I believe we're probably going to break up here pretty soon. But definitely keep an eye on those guys. All right, look at it. Litecoin on the weekly, same thing. Higher lows in the price action, lower lows in the RSI, hidden bullish divergence. This candle's looking pretty good on the weekly, and that closes today. I would like to see it close above the 10,684 range, right around where it's at now, but I'd like to see it close a little above that. But we will see. Another thing I wanted to point out in this RSI real quick, in the, let's see, right here, take a look at this area right here, guys. And then I'm going to come over here and circle the same type deal. Now, this is the weekly RSI. Get this out of here. Whoops. All right. So this is where we're at now. I do believe, like I said, hidden bullish divergence here. I do believe we're going to continue up. Most likely come test the top of this trend line eventually, which will get us to our targets that we'll be talking about here in a minute. But I do want to show you guys the similarities of these two. As you can see, this was from the 2015 bull market, when the bull market began here. And this is obviously now. And you can see what happened after that. Now let's look at it in the price action. We're going to go to log here and take a look at what that part looked like back there. Right here, you can see it was a parabolic move, came back down, corrected a little bit, and continued up. And each one of these peaks, you can see what happened here all the way till the big final bull run. So we're right in this area again. And like, let me see if I can go down a little bit. There you go. Right here's the area in 2015. Right here's the area now. And I do believe we are headed up to our all-time highs this year, guys. Let's look at, let me get rid of this, clean these back up, and we'll get over to the daily, get back over into the linear chart. All right, and to where we're at now. Take a look at these targets real quick and how I get them. This 11,700 was where I believe we're most likely headed now. That would be the top of this falling wedge, bull flag, falling channel, whichever you want to call it here. But I do believe if we break that, I have a measured move of the wedge, or the widest point of the wedge. And if we were to break out here, that gets us to the $16,000 range, which also lines up with this long-term trend line. And if we measured this as the flagpole, this being the bull flag here, and a break of that, that gets us up to the $18,000 range. I do believe we're headed that direction, guys. Again, I am still bullish, extremely bullish here. Also, I want to show you guys, and this target would change depending on where we break this trend line. Could get interesting if and when we break it. If we were to break it here around the 16,000 range, the target would be around $28,000. If we were to break it around the $18,000 range, that would move the target up to the $32,000. And like I said, the longer we go, you know, the bigger it gets. Let's say we followed it all the way up here to the beginning of December, around the $22,000 range. Bring that down and see where that target would get us. And again, this is just for fun, guys, but that gets us right up to the $40,000 range. Pretty damn interesting, guys. Like I said, we'll take a look at the the more immediate price action. But first, we're going to take a look at, let me zoom in a little bit up here, at the RSI that we've been watching here. And if you remember, if you've been watching it for the last week or so, I've been talking about this formation we're in now and what I believe is happening. If we take a look at it, we can see a inverse head and shoulders here in the RSI, another inverse head and shoulders here in the RSI, and what I think to be forming another one here, which will be something like that. And if we look at that in the price action, each one of these, each time this peaked here, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Each time this peaked here, we were at one of our highs, and then we came down. Obviously, there wasn't much of a correction there. There was just some sideways movement, a rising channel. And then we went up to our next peak, which was right here. Came down, another rising channel to our next peak. And we come down. This one is a bull flag, I believe. And if you look at the volume here, the volume is decreasing, guys. Let me make that line yellow so you can see it. But yeah, right here, if you look at this volume, the volume is declining big time. It's getting into a tight spot, which I believe is going to be the break. I'm not saying it's not possible that we come down and retest this line again, guys. And if you've been watching too, I've had this thick white line drawn in here, and this is where we broke it around the 6,560, which is old resistance back here. Once we broke that, I don't believe we're going to go back down below this line. I know a lot of people are calling for the $8,500 range, which would be where this top trend line here and the bottom of this wedge would interact. That would be around the 8,500. I'm not saying it's not possible, guys. I'm just saying it's less likely. So anyways, going back, looking at the volume, I do believe this is going to break at some point here, and it is going to be a big move to the upside, in my opinion. And that would be if we came up here. If we look at where this price action is now, it is possible that we, come up to here and then come back down and test this one more time before breaking out, which would line up with the RSI. And then the next time, looking at the $16,000 to $18,000 range. Now let's go into the 4 hour. Let me clean this off here real quick. Get into the 4 hour RSI. Sorry guys, my videos take a little bit longer than most. I don't like to leave information out. I try to get as much information in as I can for you guys, so you kind of have a better idea what's going on. All right, so where we're at with the 4 hour RSI, we were watching this wedge here, and there's a few different ways you could look at that as a channel, but I looked at it as a falling wedge that we broke out of here, come up into another falling wedge, broke out of that, and what we're forming now could be a number of things. But let's take a line off the top of this real quick. And could we be forming? Let's clone that line. And we'll just keep an eye on this. This isn't guaranteed. Obviously, we can't judge it until it's done, but something like that possibly. Or even, it could stop there and we could be forming some sort of triangle here. But like I said, until we get more data, we're not going to know exactly what that's doing, but we will look in the price action. And I want to show you in the 4 hour, around this 11.7, I believe would be getting us back up to this range here, which would be this trend line that we have across the top. All right, let's look into the price action now. We'll take a look at the bearish case scenario first, guys. And the bearish case scenario, as you can see, I have this rising channel here. If we were to break through, we could go as far down as the 10,450 range here. And if it broke through, I would be looking for support on the 255 EMA, which would be somewhere between 10,200 and 10,270, somewhere in that range. If that broke, my next line of support, guys, would be right around here at the 9600, and I'll put a target in there. And again, this is the bearish case scenario, guys. This is not what I'm looking at. Somewhere that would have to drop pretty quick to get there, but I still want to put that there, and I'm going to make this orange. All right, and if that wasn't to hold, guys, we would be looking at somewhere in the 9300 range, which would be that trend change line I have here, the thick white line. Then my worst case scenario, guys, is right here, matching up with this. I'll show you real quick. Long-term trend line that we broke over here, and it also lines up with these two wicks I have here on this trend line. Pink, purple, whatever color that is. But anyways, that would line up with that. And that's my ultimate worst case scenario low, guys, would be the 8200. But like I said, the other target to look at would be over here. And actually, I'm going to get rid of 82. I don't even think that's possible anymore. Worst case is get all the way down to here, which would be the bottom of this wedge, lining up with this trend line, 8570. Worst case scenario. Again, guys, I'm bullish. I don't believe that's going to happen, and I'll show you why now. So looking at where we're at now in this rising channel, you know my target of 11,000 right here. If we look at this formation here, seems to be an Adam and an Eve right here, and that brings us up to the 11.7. Now, obviously, the only way to confirm that is a break of that. The measured move, and you already seen how we got the 11.7 right here. That also lines up with this long-term rising channel, this being the support line, this being the resistance. Whoops. Get out of here. And the measured move of that, guys, would be the measurement from the neckline, which is at around that 11,000 range, down to the bottom of the atom, and put it up. And if we were to break out over here, that gets us up to the 12.9 to 13,000. It's actually closer to $13,000 range, guys, which would be lower than these two highs. So not to say that, you know, we would stop there. Obviously, as the data comes in, we'll be able to read it better. But what I do think will happen if we break out of this, let me get this out of the way, kind of give you guys an idea. If this is to confirm as an Adam and Eve here, I believe when it breaks, we're going to do something of this nature. Probably come up here, test the top of this trend line, come back down, test this 11,000 for support, and then continue up from there. That's just, you know, just an idea of what could happen to get us up to this 12.9. And then obviously after that, then we're looking at our higher targets, guys. So we'll see what happens. I do believe once we break this, it's going to be a massive FOMO bull run once we break the top of this wedge right here. So let's get into my favorite charts since we've been following since January, and why I believe 46,000 to 47,000 by the end of this year. And that could be being conservative, guys. We'll see what happens. But I'm going to show you why now. As you can see, I have a dotted line here from the all-time high of 20,000 to where we broke down at 6,000. And then I have the yellow trend line here from the second peak, which was around 17,000 to where we broke down at 6,000. As you can see, it formed a wedge here with the long-term bottom trend line. Now on this long-term bottom trend line, we had two touches of support down here before breaking through this wedge and coming up in this area. As you can see, I have this blue trend line drawn here, which was old support in the bear market before we broke down, and then we blew through it here. I also have these old support marks, this trend line, this white one going here, which we're flirting with now. And I do believe once we get it on top of this, I don't believe we're going to get back below it again. And I'll show you why in a second. So let's look at one more thing I wanted to point out is the EMAs on this. Sorry, guys, switch back over on you real quick. This 200 EMA and this 55 EMA are looking to cross here. When these cross, that's going to be extremely bullish, guys, in my opinion, and that's going to help with our big move up. But back over to here. So, like I said, 46,000 by the end of the year. Keep an eye on this. A pattern is a pattern, guys. Patterns most likely play out the same. And I know I'm going to look at the gold weekly chart, and that's in a weekly chart versus this is in a daily chart. But if you find, just say, a simple pattern, a head and shoulders in a 5-minute, they usually play out the same as a head and shoulders in a weekly. So it's a pattern, just a pattern. Yeah, and patterns usually play out, guys. Big percent chance that they will. And look at the resemblance. I'm going to click back and forth now. Amazing resemblance, guys. I still believe we are headed this direction for the end of the year. Now we're going to look at, I drew the same dotted trend line to where gold broke down from the all-time high, and then the second peak, the yellow one, to where it broke down. 2 touches of support on this bottom trend line before breaking through, then breaking through the blue line, which was old support in the bear market before it broke down. We broke through it, and then here's the white one, same as in Bitcoin, guys, and we flirted around with that. Once we broke down below it a few times, and then once we got back above it, we never broke below it again. Continued up. I do believe we are going to be seeing the same thing in Bitcoin. Now, I want to take a look at the RSI, weekly RSI. Guys, don't forget to smash the likes and leave your comments. Let me know what you think. Let me get in here. Weekly RSI. Now, like I said, we've been watching all this since January, guys. Before I show you this, I want to remind you guys, quit paying for the stupid paid groups and the guys charging you to teach you basic charting that you can learn anywhere on the internet. Tons of free info. Quit getting ripped off by these guys. They're making tons of money off you guys, and most of them suck at trading. All you got to do is look it up. If you're looking to pay for something, do some research on Google and see what they're really about. I'm so sick of people getting screwed. I can't stand it, man. They're giving you what you can get for free, so they're taking away their risks. They really don't even have to trade because they're taking your money. You're losing your ass to pay for their drug habits, gambling habits, lavish lifestyles, whatever. Just don't get sucked into that shit, guys. That's it. But anyways, 2013 bull market followed by the bear market. We had this trend line in here. 2 touches of resistance before breaking through, starting the bull market. 2017 bull market followed by the bear market. 2 touches of resistance before starting this bull market. And as I pointed out earlier, let's go over to, well, as I pointed out earlier, we're right in this same spot here. Like I said, you can see the resemblance. And I showed you what I believe is going to happen. It's, going to play out pretty much the same as it did over here, guys. We could have a couple years of bull market coming. My $46,000 target is just for this year. I believe next year we'll get into the 6 digits. So, and we'll just kind of play that by ear. Let's look at the monthly. Monthly, I had these 2 arcs drawn in here. This is the 2013 bull market, 2017 bull market. 2013 followed by the bear market, each arrow representing a new low in the RSI. There was 4 of them before starting the bull market. Same in 2017 bull market followed by the bear market. 4 lows in the RSI before starting the next bull market. I do believe this one could possibly be a lot quicker. So anyways, that is my view of the market, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, definitely subscribe by hitting the Crypto Savvy logo above my head. That'll get you subscribed to the channel. Then if you tick the little bell, that'll get you notified when I post new videos so you don't miss out on anything, as I do post updates every day, guys, and try to keep you informed. If you like it, subscribe. Also, give me a thumbs up. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think, and let me know what you think our end of the year high is if you don't agree with me. All right, I will talk to you later. I'm most likely going to do a live stream tonight. Take it easy, guys.